Yo, what is up YouTube? James Baek here, and welcome back to another episode of VGC 2019 Baek Battles. Today, we are going to be using Hirofumi, second place world's team, once again with Groudon, Tapu Lele, Necrozma, Dustmane, Salamence, Umbreon, and Kangaskhan. Let's get started and play some games. So, a question of today that I have to ask is, what is your favorite Ultra Beast? Now, I don't know if we're counting if we're counting Necrozma as Ultra Beast, because I think it does count as an Ultra Beast, but I think mine would probably be, even though it's not like the best competitively, although it was still pretty good, was Xurkitree. I think Xurkitree is pretty cool. I really like the I really like Xurkitree because of the fact its high special attack stat as well as Tail Glow was like really cool. Too bad speed and bulk were just really disappointing in general. But the fact is, I really liked Xurkitree, and it's probably my favorite Ultra Beast out of all of them. But yeah, otherwise, if it was competitive, we're talking about, of course, it's going to be Kartana, because of the fact that I just think Kartana is so strong. Like, it was so strong in 2017. It was still pretty good in 2018. It was a monster early 2019, and the fact it did so well this year in Ultra Series at the World Championship, even though people didn't believe in Kartana, it was just kind of insane. We got our first opponent though from France, but as I mentioned before, if you haven't checked out Hirofumi's team, you can check it out in the description down below, along with his Twitter if you want to go give him a follow. Speaking of Xurkitree, how do I always get this magic somehow? We're facing one with Lunala, Rayquaza, Tapu Lele, Whimsicott, and Snarl. This actually looks like such a scary team. It really does look like a scary team, especially if the Whimsicott has Endeavor. So yeah, this is pretty scary. I think I'm gonna go Salamence plus Umbreon as the lead here. I think I'm gonna go Tapu Lele, and I want to say Groudon, but I don't believe in Groudon. Yeah, I don't. I'd rather go Necrozma here because Groudon doesn't take attacks as well. I mean, it takes well from the Xurkitree, but I could probably just blow it up with Lele or Necrozma anyway. I don't think I need Groudon. The fact that it's super vulnerable to Lunala and Rayquaza at the same time just makes me believe it in less. And I don't feel like I absolutely need Groudon to win the game. Incineroar is going to be kind of annoying if my opponent brings it, but yeah, otherwise I think this is my best option here. We'll see what my opponent decides to go here though. Let's get into it. Dealing with this, of course, maybe leading the Salamence isn't exactly the best strategy because I'm lowering my damage foul play, but I feel like my opponent doesn't lead physical attackers anyway. Oh wow, never mind, my opponent did. It's gonna be the the Rayquaza plus the Whimsicott for the lead here, as I will lead my Umbreon plus the Salamence. So this is an interesting lead right off the bat. I could probably just go for foul play and Tailwind. Yeah, I like that play a lot because I just don't want to like break anything on a Whimsicott because, of course, I can go for Helping Hand Double Edge too, I guess. If I expect Rayquaza not to, if it's Sash, I guess it's a problem, but they don't really run Sash anymore. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Helping Hand actually. I'm gonna Helping Hand Double Edge to Salamence because if I get to Salamence, I'm in such a good spot. I feel like Tailwind can come out here and then Rayquaza goes for an attack. I feel like no matter what kind of Rayquaza it is, it just drops to Double Edge, which is why I think it's worth Mega Evolving here and going for that Helping Hand Double Edge combination into the Rayquaza slot. If it doesn't work out, it's bad, but I don't think it's the end of the world because then it reveals Rayquaza Sash, so it shouldn't be doing too much damage here. And Rayquaza Mega Evolved, so let's see if it does anything like Protect. Helping Hand will come out. Let's see. Ah, dang it. It protects. That's not good. Actually, it's a taunt. Okay. So taunt comes out instead, which is an interesting play. Yeah, that's actually really interesting. I think I'm going to go for Double Edge and Snarl now, since I think my opponent's just going to try to get Tailwind up. And I think you don't want Ray to take the big Double Edge damage, so it's smart because my opponent doesn't want me to get Tailwind up of my own, but I think this works out fine. Lunala coming out. Wow. Why would you switch in Lunala right there? Tailwind gonna come out from my opponent, but I mean, I get a double edge and a Snarl. That's huge. I also want to break the Whimsicott Sash so I don't have to worry about Endeavor for later when I double edge obliterate it. That's my plan. Here comes a Snarl. Big damage. That also lowers the pressure from Moonblast if the Whimsicott goes for Moonblast later in the game. Is that a Jug button? I mean, it's Protect or Rayquaza, so I don't have to worry about Choice Band on it, most likely, unless it's Choice Band or Rayquaza with Protect for some reason. That's annoying, though. Lele coming in. Okay, that's fine. As long as it's not Specs or Z-Move Lele, I think we're good. I should probably just protect Snarl. Unless the Lunala has Wide Guard, but I'm not sure if it does. Did I... If I get the KO on Lunala, I think it's worth trading my Salamence. Oh, I can't even protect either, right? I'll go for Double Edge and a Lele, because I think Lele is a threat. And I'll go for the Snarl here. I'm not sure what my opponent's going to do, but if it's a Wide Guard, you can only KO one with Moonblast. It's still a really tough position because I'm not sure what my opponent has. I just know it's a checked button and a Whimsicott, so that changes things. I wonder if I can get Trick him up. We're going to see the Lunala retreat, actually, into the Rayquaza. Okay. So if it is Sash, I'm going to break it here, which is good. Actually, if my opponent can KO the Salamence for me, I do get a Trick 'em Up, which would be nice, actually. The Moonblast's going to come out into the Salamence slot, which will pick up a knockout, which is fine. I think I can get Trick 'em Up and potentially win this game now. Because my opponent doesn't have good Trick-o-mancers. Snarl. We'll chip away at the Rayquaza and the Lele. I get Necrozma in. And yeah, I just go for Trick Room. And the question is, do I sack the Umbreon or not? I think we could. I think Moonblast will proc Berry, so I think we'll be fine there. I'm gonna Trick Room here. And I'm gonna foul play the Rayquaza. Because if it Giant Sense and I survive, I'm able to KO the Rayquaza with foul play. Lele is also already at -1 and it's locked into Moonblast, which if I stay in my base form, I should be fine. Wow, my opponent going in right now with the Swords Dance, but that is not the call. Unless you Fairy him. Because it's not Scarf Lele, so it might be Specs actually. But this shouldn't KO Umbreon. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay. Able to proc Berry. Very nice. And then we're able to foul play the Rayquaza, which will be able to pick up a KO. It's +2. Yeah, Rayquaza goes down. Excellent. And yeah, we are in a really good spot with that Trick Room going up here, which means I can foul play the Lunala. Is it worth foul playing the Lunala? I could probably just Moonlight and Photon Geyser. Photon Geyser should be able to knock out the Lunala at the range it's at. But it's Whimsicott coming out. Okay. I'll go for the Photon Geyser and the Whimsicott. Can I just Snarl again? Nah, keeping Umbreon alive for another turn is actually pretty nice, so I am going to go for a Moonlight here. Tailwind. Well, I guess if my opponent doesn't have any moves that can actually do anything, Tailwind's fine. Since you don't reveal any other moves, but yeah, the Whimsicott's going down to the Photon Geyser. In terrain, which is good here. Nice, and then Lele probably just going to fire for another Moonblast. This is fine here. The Moonblast's going to come out into the Umbreon once again. Yeah, Tailwind peters out for my opponent, not really a big deal. How much does that do? 140. So if I Moonlight again, I live. I feel like Photon Geyser should knock out the Lunala anyway. Let me just see how many turns we have with Trick Room. We have 3 to work with. Is it better just a Photon Geyser? I think Photon Geyser should KO. And I think I get a Moonlight off again. I just don't want to risk like Lunala living on a sliver, but I don't think it will. I'm gonna Moonlight and Photon Guys again, as my opponent decides to forfeit, so we will be able to take the game. I'm pretty sure that Photon Guys would have knocked out the Lunala at the range is that, unless it's like super bulky, which based on the damage that it took earlier, I just don't think it's like a super bulky Lunala. So we were able to take that game, barring no crit, I guess. But even if there was a crit, we had a alternate cross. But the terrain ended, but Lele resets the terrain. As long as Photon Geyser gets the KO, we should be fine. So nice, we're able to pick up a win here, as we will continue on and find our second opponent of today. But yeah, Umbreon coming in clutch for the games that we needed to, which is really nice. And yeah, we're gonna find Antonio from Italy, 1572 rating, as our second opponent. Didn't we face this like in the last episode, like literally? Ferrothorn, Tapu Koko, Ferrothorn, Tapu Koko, Kyogre, Incineroar, Rayquaza, and Crobat. Okay, so we know it's Electrium Z on the Crobat, and we know that the Ray is actually slower than the Necrozma, which are all helpful. Like, they're super helpful information. So Necrozma Groudon once again, I feel like, is fine, with Salamence plus the Tapu Lele in the back. This time I can play a bit differently now that I know that I don't have to worry about the Tapu Koko as much. Maybe I can go for Precipice Blaze this time, because maybe my opponent will think, oh, he's not going to go for a he's not going to expect he's not going to keep Groudon in this time, but maybe I can get a Blades off, which is definitely a possible move that I would have. And I think it's definitely a possible move if this was a game 2 situation that we have here. Because if my opponent just spouts and I stay in with Groudon, that's a really bad position for my opponent. So we'll see what my opponent does. I can also burst immediately, I feel like, because I don't need the base form as much, because the fact is I can have the Z move on deck for the Kyogre, because I always threaten the Z move switch into a Lele situation. So we'll see what my opponent does here. Gonna be that Tapu Koko Kyogre once again coming out, as we will go our Necrozma plus Groudon. Let's see, are you gonna hard switch this time, or are you gonna stay in and make the same play? I don't think you would make the same play this time. I think it's definitely possible you go for a spout here. I think I just go for a... I want to go for Blades. I think it's the best play. I really do think it's the best play. Although, of course, the Rayquaza is something to risk, but I feel like it's not worth the risk versus reward for my opponent. Let's see. There's a chance he Volt Switch Ice Beam that slot too. I'm not sure. I think I am just gonna go for a Protect, Burst here, and Precipice Blades. I think it is the best option that I have. It's risky, but I feel like I have room to make this risk, but we'll see what my opponent does. I'm just not sure if you're going to go out into that Ray immediately. I didn't think you would. My opponent didn't, so nice. No matter what option my opponent picks, pretty much means unless you double protected the Scout, you're losing the Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko didn't protect either. So we will protect our Necrozma. Electrium Z once again, it looks like. Yep. I wonder if my opponent actually made the same play, or maybe this time we even went for the spout here. Expecting the Groudon switch, but that's definitely not going to be the thing that is going to help my opponent out in this game. So, Gigavolt Havoc going to come out. Alright, it's on the Necrozma. How much it's going to do? Especially since we burst, it doesn't do anything. If we hit the Blades, we just win. Like, straight up. We just win if we hit both Blades. Does go for the Water Spout, but against a Groudon, not exactly the play. Precipice Blades, we missed the Kyogre, which is very unfortunate, actually. But at least we hit the Tapu Koko this time, which is good. Okay. So, getting rid of Tapu Koko means I don't have to play around terrain, which is nice. And now, things get interesting. For sure. Rayquaza is going to be sent out here. And the question is, what do I want to go for? Do I want to go for the Z move in the Rayquaza or the Kyogre? I basically get a picking here, and my opponent has to get this play right. I don't have to get this play right in order to win the game. So I'm going for the Rayquaza. Or do I go for Kyogre? Let me see. If you switch out Kyogre and a Ferrothorn. The problem is I don't know what item the Ray is, and Ray could knock out the Necross. I think I'm just gonna like Death Burns the Sky to Ray anyway. And go Lele. Let's see what my opponent decides to do. Like, my opponent has to get the call right, and it looks like my opponent didn't, unless he protected Ray. Oh, and Incineroar is actually going to be revealed as the last Pokemon here, so gonna get the Intimidate off, which doesn't really matter because I'm switching out anyway. Let's see if the Rayquaza stays in or if it decides to switch out here. Groudon will retreat here into the Lele. Yeah, Tapu Lele gonna come in, and then we can go for a Z move off. And if we knock out the Rayquaza, I think that's 100% game. Cause, well, let's see if the Rayquaza protects. If Rayquaza protects, then this is a whole completely different game. But yeah, you need Kyogre alive in order to win the game. You had to call this 50-50, right? A Delta Stream gonna come out here. Yeah, no protect, so I'm just able to get the light that burns the sky. The Z move animation is gonna go off. It's gonna be able to KO the Ray, unless the Ray, maybe it was a roll on the Sulfus Ray, I guess. I know it wasn't Sash on the Ray. So we will go for the Z move here, and let's see how much this is gonna do. After the Z move animation, we'll be right back. Alright, Rayquaza gets obliterated, and I won the Weather War with Groudon still alive, and yeah, we should be pretty set to go. I think I just can Moonblast Earth Power the Incineroar slot afterward, get a KO on that. And yeah, Kyogre can pick up multiple knockouts in this game. The reason I went for those plays is because, as I said before, I feel like if I don't target Kyogre, and even if I get the read wrong in that scenario, I don't think I lose the game. But if I targeted the Kyogre slot and Ray was able to get attack off, I feel like I could lose the game because I don't know what item that Ray is, if it's banded or not. So Earth Power Moonblast here. I don't think I can lose, even if I get this play wrong. We still get a bunch of damage into Incineroar, and yeah, the match is gonna be forfeit. So the reason I did my turn 1 is because I hard switched ground out the first time, so like my opponent definitely had that in mind. I didn't think my opponent would actually just click Spout and stay in, but yeah, the fact is that I was able to get that read right was pretty important. I thought my opponent would try to Volt Switch Water Spout there, which is why I made the play that I did, because I felt like that would cover for a lot. I just don't think you would hard switch in this scenario because of the fact that if I just Photon Guys and switch to Lele anyway, you take a lot of damage, and the fact is you don't do too much right away, I think. So overall, I felt like that was a good risk versus reward that I had. But my timer's messed up. But yeah, I don't know if this is going to be one of the shorter episodes. I think it is, but I hope everyone enjoyed it regardless. If you did enjoy this episode, please leave a like down below, show support, as well as you can leave a comment down below. Share this video with your friends and leave a like down below as well, as it really helps me out. Be sure to answer the comment question of the day, which was, what is your favorite Ultra Beast and the reason why, whether it's competitive, whether it's design, etc. But otherwise, thank you all for tuning in today's episode. If you want to check out Hirofumi stuff, you can check it out down below in the description with his team report and his Twitter, which I'll link in the description down below as always. But if you want to check out my other stuff, always in the description down below, along with my side series on the channel and my other social media platforms. Thank you to everyone who has supported me on Twitch and Patreon lately. Really means a lot to me. If you want to go an extra mile to support my content, you can go check myself out on those platforms as well. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. Have a great day, people, until we battle again. I'll catch y'all later.